How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Investing with Zeke. So again, I got to keep it down. Everybody's sleeping. It's late at night. I worked all day. So it is what it is. I know this guy who spent his whole life trying to get to the States. He's from a third world country, the Philippines. And he's like, you know what? I got here. He's been here for about 2 years now. And he's like, I'm doing everything in my power to get back to the Philippines. That's right. He wants to go back to the third world country because he's been doing nothing but working 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and he says it's just not that crazy there. I mean, he still loves the States. I love the States, but he did make a few good points, but, it is what it is, right? So I'm definitely not just a YouTuber, so I just drop a few videos every once in a while, especially during times like these, because, this is the time when people are looking to run for the hills. But I'm going to tell you guys about 10 mistakes I've actually made and the 10 guidelines I go off of because I've made those mistakes. We'll also talk about a few of the stocks that made me make these decisions and the bad choices I've made, costing me a lot of money. Hopefully you can learn from those to not you yourself lose a lot of money. So this isn't going to be the top 10 stocks that you should buy that are going to 2x. By the way, you wouldn't want to hear them anyway. They're boring, and half of them are Chinese stocks. All right, so let's get off into it. Let me mini size me, and let's get to number one, which these aren't, by the way, like important to zero important to really important. These are all just guidelines I go by. Now, I might like one slide, but I'm definitely not letting more than that slide. So this is one thing I've learned, and you guys have probably been part of that, which I appreciate that, by the way. Never buy the second or third best stock in the genre just because, or in the sector, just because, I said genre like we're listening to music or something. But anyway, you shouldn't buy the second or third best stock just because simply they're the second or third best stock, like SolarEdge. Let's take this for example. All the employees buying the crap out of the stock. This was, little did I know, they must have been buying it to short it. Again, it's a company located in Israel, so I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But I really bought this because they own like 70% of the market, of not commercial market, the retail market, right? So I was like, that's great. But the thing is they don't do anything special, and anybody can really just copy what they do. A company like Enphase, which you have to pay like a 19 times multiple on, that's why I didn't buy it, has a reason why you're paying that 19 times the amount. It's literally because it has something special about it. That matters a lot to the market. So that's why you see SolarEdge, which used to be like a $300 stock, sitting right now at $20. I was able to get out at like 27 or 26.50 or something. I didn't really lose a lot of money, but that's not to say I haven't lost money, because this isn't the only company I did this BS with. Check this out. You remember this POS? Yeah, ChargePoint, which is also kind of goes through a trendy stock, but this really wasn't. I didn't buy this because this was trendy. You know why I bought it? Because I seen them everywhere. ChargePoint owned literally like 80% of all the chargers. I did know, however, that Tesla chargers were much better and people would rather use them. And all they did was open them up and it crushed ChargePoint. And I actually sold ChargePoint when Tesla opened their charging systems up. I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm out. I'll wait until Tesla drops, which it never has, but there's a reason, because Tesla has something special in the market, like something special. ChargePoint can just put a whole bunch of battery packs out on the corner of the road. Anybody can do that. So that's why this was a mistake for me. And I think I've lost some money on ChargePoint. So that is one thing I definitely did. So number two, don't buy into trends. The latest trend we had was the good old GME, the Hello Kitty guy or Kitty guy. He came in, he made a ton of money. I'm sure a lot of people made some money off of this too, following him. That's why he's, so loved. He's gone now. I haven't heard from him since he made a whole bunch of money off of it, but this is a company that is dying. Nobody buys physical copies of games. Nobody goes into GameStops anymore. Nobody even knows where a GameStop is. It's kind of crazy that it's still around, but this is one of those companies that are really trendy. I don't follow trends. That's why I've never owned a GameStop. However, when I first got into the market, I did own a little bit of AMC, and that's why I don't do that. This is another trend, obviously. We all have local movie theaters that are all better than AMC's. So nobody's going to an AMC movie theater. They don't even own the property. They just rent out a building. So they have absolutely zero value. I mean, it's sitting at a $2 billion market cap. That's crazy. But at one point, this was before all the splits and the dilution. This was sitting at $560. So this has obviously have been destroyed, 97% down all time. Never buy companies that are this down either. That should be another one of my rules. But anyway, yes, AMC is a company that really shouldn't even be around anymore. The only reason why it is because of people like Kitty, which is fine. I mean, I don't have anything wrong against AMC. It's just I'm not going to be a holder of AMC. My number 3, don't play earnings. So I don't buy a stock 7 days before earnings, and I don't buy a stock sell a stock 7 days after earnings, or vice versa. I give it some time. I think about things because I don't like to panic buy, which is also one of my rules. So we'll put that at number 4. Don't just panic buy and don't just panic sell. That's why you got to have a little bit of conviction on what you're buying. And when you buy into these trends, how can you have conviction to hold 3,000-4,000 shares and you're just like, I've never even seen an AMC. Like, that's crazy to me. So that's why I don't follow trends. And rule number 5, do not overpay. What do I mean by overpay? What do I mean by overpay? Well, let's talk about overpay here. Where is it? Right here. This is also a trend, and this is also something that's very disguised as something that looks like a great deal because it's only $100. It is not. This has a market, NVIDIA has a market cap of almost $3 trillion. The whole company's based out of Taiwan, and right now it seems like they're going through some problems. I don't know if that was true or not. Since I don't know it's true, there's a rumor out that they're getting sued or they're getting looked into because they think they're doing some fraudulent stuff. I mean, look, you're up the fuck, like 259,000%. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. But, they really sold it. People are buying it. And just because this drops under $100 does not make it a good deal. And you'd be following a trend. Not something I'm willing to do. Not something I actually ever done. I've always been kind of a bargain shopper. So, yeah, that's why I'm not touching the video. Like, it would literally have to go down to $50, and it would have to be when everybody hates it before I would buy NVIDIA. So there might be a time, but today's not those time. Number 6, never buy pharmaceutical companies. Teladoc. This is a company that was heavily bought by Cathie Wood and ARK. I mean, they were buying it all the way up at like $200. It's now sitting at $7.51. It's a 1 billion market cap. I mean, it would sound like a good deal, but there's some fraudulent, weird stuff that goes down at Teladoc, and I'm pretty sure they could easily be copied, and you just don't want to mess with pharmaceutical companies. Another reason is DNA, another company that's, was very popular. It really just split. It was at what? 31 cents, and then it split. That's the only reason why you're getting the spike up, is because the company split. It had a lot of promise, I've never bought pharmaceutical companies, and if I did, it would be like, God, I don't even know if I would, Pfizer, maybe, they're always on top of things, but probably not. I just stay away from pharmaceutical companies. If they do get destroyed enough, then I'll buy like an ETF that has a bunch of them in it, because they're really hard to keep up with, and like progress changes every day. You have a new company come up every day. So I just avoid pharmaceutical companies. Now, when you're in a market crash, this is what I did. And this actually paid off really, really good for me. Which we're in a market crash right now, but first of all, I want to actually get over, do not buy into trends. We didn't really talk about that much. So, well, actually, yeah, we did. We covered the trends. So here, sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Besides, I wanted to add a little something to the conference call. The earnings situation. I do not play earnings. However, when you hear something so bad or something goes so wrong in the numbers, that is okay, in my opinion, to sell. And I did, and it paid off. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Good old Tattooed Chef. You remember this company, guys? Oh my God. So I did buy this company, but I was listening to their latest conference call, when I owned the stock, and they didn't show up. They showed up like 2 hours late, and they had no numbers, and they acted like they didn't know what was going on. Immediately, I sold Tattooed Chef, and I bought Palantir. I literally doubled my position in Palantir, and the market was crashing at that time too. So that does go to my point of consolidating into just a few stocks. So when Tattooed Chef was crashing, all those shitty ass stocks were crashing that I did really poor in. I moved it all into stocks I really believed in. Not that other YouTubers really believed in, just stocks that I believed in. So I moved all my Tattooed Chef into Palantir. And as you can see, that paid off pretty well, 200%. Pretty good gain. We just got accepted into the S&P 500. So congratulations. People are now forced to buy the stock. Hedge funds and everything. We should see continuous growth probably throughout the year, unless there's a really big crash. But when there is a crash, I've already decided I'm willing to go down with my ship in Palantir. So if we go back down to $8, it is what it is. I'll double or triple my position. So, but when a market crash is happening, I consolidated. Not only did I go into Palantir, I went into Meta. Now, I was throwing like crazy fits. Like I was angry. So what happened with Meta is it actually dropped all where? Yeah, I don't even think it's showing it, because I was buying this at like $88. So anyway, I know I bought shares at $88. My average was like $125. I did end up selling because I did have a sell point kind of in my head, even though I believe Meta's probably the most valuable company in the whole world. But since nobody else really believes that, there's a whole lot of political stuff along with it. He just came out and said, he was pushed over by Biden, and Biden bullied him and stuff like that. So, if Trump gets into office, Facebook could be in trouble. So I decided, my sell price was anyway $500. I sold at $495. It has ran up higher than that, and it can continue to run, but that's what I'm comfortable at selling at. That's why you should always set buy and sell targets. Palantir is just so hard to figure out because they continuously just do more and more phenomenal stuff. Like, I can't help it. Now, if a company drops more than 10%, you got to really, like in a day or in a week, relatively quickly, you got to really start doing more research, going back, watching more conference calls, going through some numbers, seeing what's going on. I don't care if you have to Reddit it or stock twits it, whatever, what is wrong. Because the key to the market, Buffett says it as well, is to not lose money. These 10 things, I have lost money. So when you're also in a crash, one thing I definitely learned is only buy profitable companies. And it doesn't matter. It continue to consolidate, buy profitable companies, and buy companies that everybody hates. That's why you see me looking at Alibaba. This is a Chinese company. I don't know a lot about I don't know shit about the Chinese company. I mean, I just know what they tell me because you got to pretty much go off of what they say because, you know, it's ran by the government, their government, it's an ADR, so they just pretty much control everything. Now, I hope things get better between us. I'm thinking they will because if they get worse, then we're in some big trouble. That's why I'm starting to buy Alibaba. People hate it, and that's where I want to buy. Disney is another one of those companies. Nobody really likes it. They do have reasons to hate them. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Disney's a little crazy, but as of right now, I'm gonna build out a position in Disney. It's one of those mega cap companies. It isn't going anywhere. They own ESPN and sports and everything. Of course, you should never panic buy, never panic sell. So that's when you're talking about following stocks up. You know, that's when you're getting back into this, or, you know, you're getting into, you beat, you know, shit. Well, actually, we won't get into crypto. But, you know, when you start just buying stuff, you're going to lose a lot of money. And when you start panic selling, you're going to really regret it. That's why you got to have commitment to your stocks. That's very important. And never time the market. So you always should be in the market, in my opinion. So, yeah, I went through hell. I went through probably one of the biggest crashes, like, ever. Right? I mean, that was just, what, in 2021 or something like that? So I learned a lot from that. And I'm glad I never tried to jump out of the market and jump back in. I'm glad I consolidated. It definitely paid off, and that's what I'm willing to do if that happens again. So, yeah, thanks for sticking around with me. You know, it was kind of a long video. It's, you know, just telling you about my mistakes. But I do think you guys should, you know, hear that, and maybe you can learn something. Shit, I don't know. I figured I'd try to switch it up a little bit. But those are the guidelines that I go off of, and yeah, I appreciate you sticking around. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.